Welcome to another edition of Extra Connections. I'm your host, James Lott Jr., and it is a cold, cold morning here in Los Angeles. I know for many of you who live outside Los Angeles, you have real snow and real, negative temperatures. But for us in LA, if to get to the 30s here in LA, it's cold, and the wind has been really windy, so it's been very, very cold wind. So it's been kind of crazy. I love that it's also very clear. No smog in Los Angeles. This is a good time to come. But it's just been really cold. And my house has no insulation, so it's like an old house. So it's just been really cold in my house and having to turn the heater on. Just I know, first world problems. I get it. Or California problems. But it's been really cold. But welcome to the show today. Glad to be able to bring this to you guys and to everybody out there. I have a great show, a great guest who's going to talk about a new book that she has out about her incredible life. And I just, it's funny because I admire folks who write books. I write books too, an author myself. But people who write memoirs, autobiographies. Biography is one thing, that's somebody else who's writing about you. But an autobiography while you're alive, to sit down and write one or co-write one, or some people have ghostwriters, they tell the story. Either way, you're telling your story. And I find it really interesting. What you choose to put in the book, what you choose not to put in the book, what you choose, how far you choose to go, how far you choose not to go. Your perspective at that time as you're writing the book, because after it goes out, then later on does your perspective change. Some people write several books about their lives as they continue to grow. So you to read that first one, you go, wow, I thought that back then. Okay, maybe you have a new perspective later. Maybe it hasn't changed. Maybe you're just still the same. I think autobiographies, memoirs are very, very, very complex to put together and very interesting to read. I've always loved biographies and autobiographies. My documentary wise too, my favorite subjects is people. People who their stories. And I think everyone has a story, whether it's a famous person or not. Every person has a story of some sort, and I think it's fascinating. I mean, even regular people that just are not on TV or not in the movies or don't do music, I love hearing their stories. And so a lot of what I do on a lot of these podcasts and my TV shows is when I interview people, I'm trying to get into them, like what goes on, what makes them tick, why they are, why they do what they do. And that's the big modem here for extra connections. It's to get in there and hopefully help people who, because this goes out to the internationally. This is on iTunes, this is on iHeartRadio, or on Spreaker.com. Anybody anywhere could hear this and hear one of the interviews and one of the stories, and hopefully maybe comfort them that they're not alone, or open someone's eyes. That's why something's going on. Certain things are going on. I wanted to affect change in the world. That's all I'm trying to do with my stuff. I don't care about fame and fortune. I'm trying to affect change in the world. So today I'm going to discuss with my girl Tina Alexis Allen, and that's going to be something. To me, it's going to affect change in the world because she's out there to share her incredible story, and it's going to be great. So after this commercial break, when we come back, it's Tina Alexis Allen. We're talking about her book. Hi, I'm James Lott Jr., professional organizer and certified life coach, and the owner of A Lot of Help. I have a new series podcast called 15 Tips to Self-Care Series 1. It is 15 individual tracks, all short length, that tackle a subject that's very useful in life. Some of them are for business, some are for personal, some are for organizing, and they're all educational. I invite you to go to Spreaker.com/JLJ Media and take a listen. Pick one. You don't have to go in order. You can pick from 15 first and go to 1, or 1 and go to 15. Subjects like procrastination is no joke, what is a life coach, and everything in between. Go to Spreaker.com/JLJ Media and go to 15 Tips to Self-Care Series 1. Also, visit us on the Facebook page, A Lot of Help. Are you a producer looking for a host for a new project? Or are you interested in a career in hosting and don't know how to begin? Or are you a host looking for a community? Well, welcome to Meet the Host, the place where hosts meet. Go to youtube.com, meet the host, For the show, which airs every Monday, it features hosts from all genres talking about their world of hosting. Then continue the conversation and go to Meet the Host on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we post news, entertainment, tips, and more, all geared to hosting. That's Meet the Host, the place where hosts meet. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Extra Connections. I'm your host, James Lott Jr., and as I always do on this show, I try to connect you with people, places, things, and ideas. This person has all those things locked down with her new book, which, when they use the word page turner now in the encyclopedia or a dictionary or wherever you find those things are, this book, a picture of this book should be next to it. I read this book in one day, folks, in one day, because I had to put it down a couple of times. I had to take care of some life stuff. But I did morning, afternoon, evening. I read this book, and it is incredible. But folks, before I even get to that, this actress and producer and scriptwriter and playwright, I had the honor and privilege of having her on one of my TV shows. As you guys know, I do TV. And we fell in love with each other. It was just love at first sight. And we've kept in touch ever since then. And I always told her, when your book comes out, we gotta talk about it. Now we're not gonna tell you everything that goes on in the book. Of course, I want you to read it. We're gonna touch on some subjects that are in there, and it's just, she's a total delight. I'm just so happy to have her on my show, Miss Tina Alexis Allen. Hi, Miss Tina.
Hi, sweetie. I'm so happy to be here. As you probably know, I am doing a lot of publicity for Hiding Out, and I have been looking forward to this one with you as much as any, because I just adore you from our time interviewing on your other show for Outsiders. And love at first sight. Absolutely.
You know, isn't that funny how you meet people? Chemistry is everything, and you meet people, even if one's press and one's, the actual subject, you could totally connect.
Absolutely. I could tell you things we talked about in our first interview, which was a while back, but not that long. But you're that you owned a property in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
We could be rattling off details.
Yes.
I'm sure to each other, because when you connect, it's like we've known each other, right? It's like we're just another life or whatever you believe in, but clearly a soul connection with you.
I agree, and folks, Tina is present. When you were there, you were both present in that interview, because again, you do a lot of publicity for TV shows. Now the book, your eyes can glaze over after a while, depending on who's interviewing you. So it's kind of nice that you and I are very present when we sit down and talk.
Absolutely.
So
that's the thing. It's being present. Amen.
So the book is called Hiding Out, a Memoir of Drugs, Deception, and Double Lives. First of all, great title, because once you read the book, you're like, oh, okay, get it. There's several ways you get it when you read the book.
Exactly.
And now, the first thing I want to ask you is, I can only imagine, probably not, but just, was there any trepidation in revealing your truth and how it unfolds concerning, we'll get to it again with your dad and stuff. Was there any trepidation about doing that?
Well, I certainly was aware that I live a fairly public life as an actor and writer. My family doesn't. They're not in the arts. They're not famous or celebrities in any way living maybe out loud in public. So I was, of course, aware of that. But in the end, there's not a lot in the book that they didn't already know, and I'm speaking of my 12 siblings. I'm the youngest of 13, for those who don't know yet. But yes, of course, I was sensitive to that. I've changed their names, which I do say, in the disclaimer at the top, purposefully, just because, not everyone wants to live in the public. But I ultimately decided that the good that I might be able to do by telling this very complicated, complex story would far outweigh some bumps that I might encounter with my siblings. And most are very supportive and have been. And there's a few, of course, as would be in any group of 13 people, that wouldn't agree with everything and wish that some of these secrets would remain secrets. I respect it, but it's my journey.
That is something. It's funny, as this week is my 3 anniversary in television. So it's my 3 years. Yay! Thank you. And I've been doing radio and stuff for about 3 or 4 years now too. And you're right. Once you start becoming a personality of your own, like I'm becoming or have become. Yeah, some people who are close to you didn't sign up for that.
That's right. That's right. And I get that. And as a result, there's certainly a lot more secrets, if you can believe that, that I could have revealed
Yeah.
that were my siblings, but I wasn't going down that path. So I did the best I could to keep them as little in the book, and certainly didn't divulge things that it would be up to them to divulge. But I certainly believe that people get to own their own story. And with mine being as big as it was, I mean, the truth is, if I wasn't going to give something back with the kind of life I was given, it would seem to me sort of a waste, and also maybe like I wasn't doing what I was put on this earth to do, if you know what I mean.
I do. And girl, yeah, ain't more secrets, jeez. And crackers.
Yeah.
I mean, I read enough of them. Folks, there's enough to go. There's enough to keep you going for a while when you read this book.
Yes.
I'm like, there's
you
more.
Need to put it down once or twice, unlike James.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sure. And so, I mean, okay, so you had to write this book and kind of relive it, or how did you view your time? That's the question I want to ask you. How did you view your time writing this book?
What do you mean when you say?
Like, I was about to put things on you, like, it must have been really hard, or was it cathartic, or was it tough? I want to know what you think. Like, what was your experience?
No, I wouldn't use the word hard.
Okay.
And I think the hard, if I was going to say anything in that territory, would be about the actual writing process, because it's my first book. So there's that. It's just the demand of, and I wrote this book, as you will see when you all read it, from the first person. So I didn't have an adult narrator. I didn't have me, as you hear me now, holding your hand as you walk through this wild journey with me. I let my young voice take the lead and be the driver, and that's why at times it might feel a bit reckless, because I don't stop to explain to you why she did that, because I think readers are incredibly wise.
Oh yeah.
And they can get, when they hear how fast I came of age as a young girl, and the reasons why I came of age at lightning speed, why I behaved the way I did in my late teens, early 20s, and why this train wreck at times was happening. So I think the hard part was simply the writing, and I think the rest of it pretty well poured out of me, because I've worked with my own life story in various ways and through different platforms. Yeah. So it wasn't the first time. I wasn't, stepping out of my first therapy session writing this book. That wouldn't have been a good idea.
Yeah. Oh my God, can you imagine? I know, yeah. Like,
No.
And why now? What made you ready to put this onto the world?
Well, I think it was just a kind of a natural progression. I mean, I have needed a lot of time to heal, and I've taken that time, and I've used the creative world to plays, screenplays, solo shows.
Oh yeah, no, you have
those venues. Yeah. And so I had actually, the last thing I did that was autobiographical was a solo show playing my father called Secrets of a Holy Father, and I actually wanted to explore his complicated life as him.
Oh yeah.
So that was the last sort of thing. And then once I sort of felt very clear, having, quote, walked in his shoes, I felt ready to turn it around and go, okay, now I'm going to, tell my version and feel like I had given him the benefit of the doubt to take the time to dive into what he might have been feeling. And that was really helpful. So why now? I think, I'm ready to hold my life in my hand and not be of it.
Ooh, I like that.
And
I like that.
Feel capable of sharing it. And I think that's why now, because I can, and I can have this conversation with you, and hopefully we break through these radio waves and reach somebody who's still maybe living in the shadows, that says, oh, I read this, and oh my God, and yes, it's a page turner and titillating and scandalous, and yet someone lived this, and she's that person I just heard on the radio, and if she can be on the other side of it, perhaps I can be on the other side of my shit.
Yeah. Oh, here's the thing, folks. So it's part coming out story for a young girl, but
Yeah.
then there's a twist, and there's
Yeah.
also there's religion involved in this.
Oh, yes.
There is British Anglophile stuff versus American, young girl stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things one of the things that I got out of this book, you learn to see your father as a human being, not just as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that
Absolutely.
same experience.
You did, yeah.
So it took me 40, some years, but I
Yes.
got there and I saw my parents, both my parents. Like I think you do too in this book. You see both your parents too in this book.
Yes.
But I mean with your father because that's a major story in the book. You end up seeing your father as this human being, and that's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah. It was a gift, and it is on the book cover. And if you go to
Oh
Amazon
yeah.
to buy your book, you'll get this piece of information. So it's not it's not a reveal that
Yeah,
you wouldn't find naturally. But when I was I had been with boys, I guess,
yes.
but girls,
Yes.
and men and women also at a very young age. And by the time I got to be 18, and I was seeing a woman who was probably 12 years my senior, my father took us out to dinner and then suspected that we were together and basically outed us there at the table lovingly, surprisingly, because he was the most religious and devout Catholic that you've ever met. If you were to meet him, you'd say that guy should have been a priest. He's so devout, and then he proceeded to say that he had buried his lover in the war before meeting my mother, and that my godfather was his lover, and so on and so on, and this one was gay and that one, and he was obviously still active. So I practically choked on my...
I choked reading it. I choked. I was like, whoa, wow. Like, okay.
Yes. And that was mind-blowing. And that's just the beginning of the book. So I won't give more except to say that as we became confidants and I learned more about him, and that was a big thing to manage and keep a secret from my mother and my siblings.
Yes.
It was really complicated, and from the clubs to the traveling to the Concord to the, it was a big life and a secret one that he and I lived, but it also turns Vatican-esque, Dan Brown.
Yes.
Quality, because I start to learn that he's now got Vatican secrets and has very high connections to the Vatican, and he was doing secret work for them. So it gets much more complicated, and I won't give any more details. That's enough of the setup, I think, for the audience.
I agree. I mean, and that's why I said I won't give too much book. You people need to read it. I'm like, I read books all the time, and this book I seriously was like, could not put it down because there's so many components to it. And the thing that struck me again was that you and your father became kindred spirits in a way. Through even beyond the sexuality part. I mean, that's part of it, obviously, but it was this. I felt this other component reading the book, like, wow, you said confidants. You became almost, I mean, equals in some level. I mean, it was just kind of like, that's what I got out of the book. Also,
one of the women that I'm in the book, that I'm with in the book, I spoke with when I started to write it, in the process of it, and I called to say, do you remember this? Do you remember that? It's a lot of years ago, but anyway. And one of the things she said to me that still blows me away to this day, that it just floored me. She said, your father really admired you. I said, what? He was really admired how you lived your life, and you were out with it. And I wasn't out, but I mean, just even the way that I was out, as much as I was just being who I was. And I think we gave each other a gift. So as complicated and screwy as what I've just said may sound to most people, like he dumped that secret on you and then I had to carry it, and that's like, I'm 18, and I'm not condoning, every difference. But you're right, there was a gift that he gave me where I could breathe and actually share a secret with somebody inside the family, which I was keep carrying, and a lot of other secrets you and I haven't and probably won't talk about today, but there's more secrets when you read it, you'll understand
Yes.
we were in a house of secrets. We
Yes.
grew up in a culture of secrecy. But my father and I think, gave each other a gift. As complicated as the relationship was, we did become. We loved each other authentically, and we got a chance to love each other, and that was the gift. Because I didn't really like him very much before all that happened. He wasn't always such, the nicest guy.
Right.
Looking back, I understand some of the frustration.
Oh my goodness.
But still, when you're a kid, you're not where you got to with your parents, where you're thinking, oh, they're just human beings. You're like, what the?
Right.
Why are you acting like that?
Right. No. Right.
Why are you screaming? And
Yes.
why are you treating mom like that?
Right. That's what's so complicated. I mean, there's so many, and it's so realistic because I know you weren't the only family, I mean, the Vatican part plays a little different, but like the rest of the stuff, it's very relatable. I'm like, for me, I want anyone who's gone through or going through sexuality, coming to their sexuality within a family that may be religious or have some kind of belief that's kind of not with that, or any parent who has their own secrets and their own. I think they should read this also.
Absolutely. I think it's so universal. It's so far beyond any issues of sexuality. Although I think
agree.
there's a lot of lessons in that too for anyone living an alternative lifestyle of any kind.
Yes.
Of course, it's a no-brainer there. But I think the bigger thing that I want readers to get is that, when we're transparent in our family, that's where we learn it. And so if mom or dad is keeping a big secret, and, every family, has something, but, there's that constant, it's a universal thing, like a parent, when you find a letter after they pass, or they finally reveal to you something when they're 70 or 80, and at the end you finally put a piece and you're like, oh, that's why they, and all this time, and they couldn't quite, be intimate with me, or they couldn't quite talk about sex, or they couldn't quite embrace that boyfriend I had or girlfriend, or what I mean? It's like all those secrets, all those little things that seem like, well, every family does it. I think what my book does is it puts a spotlight on, yes, a bit of an extreme version of it, but still the damage it does to us as families when we're not honest, and we don't just do our own healing and then let it go, because we just keep passing it on, and it becomes the legacy of the family.
Yes.
Without anyone saying anything.
Yes. And even though we say this stuff sounds outrageous, some of us have stories that sound otherworldly, but they're actually a little more common than we think, I think, sometimes. I've done enough interviews with enough people to hear stories that are like, oh, okay. It's getting more and more common that we're so spread out. So hopefully, like this show, I try to bring people together. That's why it's called Extra Connections. Together, and my TV shows bring them together so I want people to hear this. There's enough of these stories out there that need to be heard, so people who are going through something similar can hear it and go, "Okay, I'm not alone."
Exactly. That's exactly it. And there's many themes in the book, and forgiveness is certainly one of them too. But I think you take the ride of the complication in my book. I want people to take the ride of the complications so that they can see the mess and see the other side. Because, to just go, oh, well, I'm better, that happened. It's like, okay, I could wash over it and present a different way, but I've consciously chosen to give you a lot of detail.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Yes, she does, folks. Yes, you feel like there are times, Tina, that I felt I was intruding.
Yeah.
There are times when I felt right there. You painted the picture. I said it's in the first person. You painted. I feel like I was with you at this blank, blank, blank location, and I want to stop you. Or I want to stop. I want to stop. I'm like, no, don't do that. I'm like, oh, well, are we sure you want to do that? Or it took you back to when I was in my 20s and figure out who I was. And suddenly, there's things I did that I probably thank God there wasn't Facebook or Twitter that I did. There's a few Polaroids out there, girl. But that's about it. But what I mean. You took me back a little bit, and so my partying days and trying to figure it out. I was with men and women trying to figure everything out, and just like, what's going on and who am I? And but I was sitting there. I was with you. I was with you in some parts, going, "Oh my God, girl, don't do that. Oh my God!" It was very intrusive. It was very intrusive.
Yeah, I get that, and that I think the first person narration definitely allows that, and the detail I've chosen to put on the page. A young gal who I think she said she was 24, 25, had gotten my book on Goodreads. They do giveaways and stuff.
That's right.
And she had gotten one, so there was an early review on Goodreads that this young gal, and I was so pleased in her review. And the reason I was pleased, and because it is about a young coming of age, so I think young people really will relate to this book, and that has been my hope, is that I would not, yes, I'm older and my youth was a while back, but it's still about coming of age. It's still about what do we do when we're figuring it out, as you said.
Yes.
But what she said that I loved echoes a little bit of what you were just saying, that sometimes I was mad at her. Sometimes I was rooting for her, and sometimes she made me mad because she was doing things that people my age do, and it pisses me off, and then sometimes I felt bad for her, and I thought, oh, good.
Yes.
Good. That's exactly right. That's, you should be mad at that girl or afraid for her, and then happy that she's, getting mad or finding her voice or whatever, and all of that, and that tells me that, as Bookish wrote, it's deeply felt, and I want people to be deeply felt and moved and maybe changed. Who knows?
Well, I would say you said something in your just now that I want to kind of say to people, because I have children, I have a grandchild, and my grandson is now almost turning 19 soon, and what I'm finding out is, the more things change, the more things stay the same. And it's funny you just said about how even though you and I were a long time ago, a certain age period, but there's a lot of things are still going on, regardless if it's 2018 or 1988 or 1998 or whatever.
Exactly.
I'm finding through my children 10 years ago or so, I'm finding out that, there are things that are still universal that still go on for people of a certain age.
Absolutely, and that, everyone understands. If you are 18 or older, everyone understands what it is to be 18, what it is to be 20, what it is to be searching for where do I fit? How can I survive whatever I might be going through? How do I deal with my family, my parents, it is absolutely universal, and it's also fun because some of it, it's really mostly taking place in the 80s. So,
yes, I love that.
It's a fun time, and everything is 80s now anyway. So.
It sure is, girl. It sure is, girl.
It's really it's a fun time.
But what I want to, I also want to say, it's one of those things where this story is just so good, and I think people really could benefit from any angle they come at this. Whether it's sexuality or somebody or you're just any, and I'll see because I know you're a playwright and stuff.
Yeah.
This book, I'm like, this book is a movie. It's a miniseries.
Yes.
It's a play. I could totally see it.
Yeah.
Somewhere being performed.
Yes.
I can see it.
So.
I can see it.
Yeah. I have written a pilot mostly for myself at this stage, because I actually have always seen it as a TV series, although it reads very, very easily like a movie. Like when you read it, you go, oh, okay, beginning, middle, and end.
Yes.
But I also lived it, growing up and before, and this family, which, it's complicated in their stories. And so, it has a sort of Alan Ball, shameless transparency vibe that could be, 7 seasons.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, it could definitely be that. And, of course, without much thought, it could absolutely be a play or
easily.
August Osage County.
Oh yeah.
But, in a waspy-ish vibe, Vatican angles and lots of Catholicism.
Yes. Now, I saw in the book, in some of your things and stuff, you still think you're Catholic family. So do you? So you still feel a connection to that part of your dad, a part of your life, or?
Are you emphasizing the Catholic part or the fact that I'm still close with my family?
The Catholic parts.
Oh yeah, no. I don't identify as Catholic.
Okay.
So no, I'm not a practicing Catholic. I do feel. I would describe myself as a very spiritual person with faith, and I definitely believe in something bigger than myself.
Okay.
With a lot more power than me,
Yes.
that I do turn to, and so I do live. I feel a fairly, you know, spiritual life.
I know you do.
But
I know you do.
I don't. I don't go. I don't go to mass. And I mean, look, I'll pop into any church if
Yeah.
the doors are open and I need some quiet and reflective, or
Yeah.
just centering. I'll pop in any church in New York City where the doors are open. I'm not particular.
Yeah.
So it's not like I won't walk in a church or attend, a mass or a wedding or something, but it's not my thing.
I'm just glad you shared the story too, because in Hollywood, you're in Hollywood.
Yes.
You're in the machine. You and I both were in the
Yes.
machine.
Yes.
Any images, any kind of works that we can get, that's it ends up being, it's really, I mean, I say it's a page turn and all stuff. It actually is a positive book. After, and in the long run, I did walk away with some hope.
Yes.
And I felt better about you, and I felt better about your dad, and I wanted more, of course. And when you read the ending, and so you'll see that I wanted more.
Yes.
But I think any kind of imagery we could get, and anybody speaking out on their truth, like you said, that's alternative. It makes me so happy. It just makes me so happy.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are in a country that is filled with, wonderfully unique, different people. That is what we
Yes.
should be, I think, celebrating, is our uniqueness and our diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that, some would like to keep things, in a box, and maybe with power in one particular peg. And that's just not reality. And I think any kind of diverse voice should be welcomed right now.
Yes.
And I think it's important. And I just was down working out at the gym before our call, and I was the TV was on and without sound, but I was reading, and I saw where there was some disowning of statements that had been said.
Yes.
That were clearly factual in politics. I don't get into the nitty gritty,
Yes.
but the point is that the facts that are clearly have been said 100 times are now being said. I didn't say that, and just looking at that, I thought to myself, if nothing else, just calling a spade today, taking responsibility for what you said and what you did, for all of us.
Yes.
I mean, it's almost like we don't really have leaders that we can turn to. I mean, we have some, but we don't have a lot of the ones we used to count on, right or wrong, where we could be like, okay, I'm being led to do that, even if they're just, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a standard. And now I feel like you're right. It's up to us
It is.
to tell the truth and to tell our stories, because we got to be there for each other.
Yes.
We don't have the machine. It's
Nope.
not working.
Nope. It is not. It's not working.
Machine, people.
Right. It is up to us.
Tell your truth. Yeah.
Tell your truth, and it really will set you free, and it will set other people free also. And you just, again, if one person picks up this book and their life has changed, your job is done. I just think it's just that's. And I'm telling you, Tina. I mean, I said it changed my life a little bit, because I was like just reading something, because I know you a little bit. I was like, oh my God, I just think you're such a brave person. I'm very honored to know you.
Thank you so much. I feel the same about you. You're a truth teller, and we need a lot more of that. I just somebody reached. I've been getting people reaching out.
Good.
And with thoughts of just from the press,
Yes.
not because the book actually delivers the 20th. So but just in terms of interviews and stuff, and I done an interview with Jill Kargman in New York City on this past Friday. And someone responded to the interview and basically asked me advice about some of the themes, one of the themes in particular, because she was struggling, and it's like. That's it. That's the win right there.
That is.
That's the win. And I really hope people will pick it up and take the journey, take the ride, because it's big, and I think that it might change the way you look at stuff, particularly your family and your parents.
I completely 1000% agree. Folks, the book's called Hiding Out, a memoir of drugs, deception, and double lies by Tina Alexis Allen. And I'm going to post a link to where you can buy it on Amazon stuff on our Facebook page, which is Extra Connections.
Great.
So you can actually, so I'm making it super easy for folks. Just one click, you'll be there. This book is so good. I think very important.
Thank
And
you.
these stories, for everybody. And I said, anybody who's doing an alternative lifestyle, or somebody, or just for yourself, pick up the
Yeah.
book. The book is good. It's a good read. I mean, if anything else, it's a good read. I think you'll walk away a different person when you read this book. And so,
Thank you, sweetheart.
thank you, Miss Tina,
Thank you so
for
much.
now. Where now, if anybody's talked to you on, because you're on social media, so if everyone's talked to you on social media, where can they find you?
Yes, please talk to me after you read the book or
Yes.
anytime. I'm at Tina Alexis Allen on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Yes, she is. And
Yeah.
I'll post some links to that too. Yeah, she's like, we talk all the time. I see her all the time. She's on there, folks.
Oh
And
yeah, I'm
and
on
honest,
there,
and
baby. I'm gonna answer. If you reach out to me, I will answer. I promise.
she will. And now, just on a side note, before we end, like, do you have any projects coming up? Anything coming up outside of this?
Any what? I missed that.
I'm sorry, any projects coming up?
Oh yes, yeah. Actually, there's some great stuff in the horizon. I'm starting to have some space now that the book is done to
Right.
get back to my actress.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure.
She
Yes.
sadly had to take a back seat, but
Yes.
I told her I'd be right back.
Yes. I'll be right back. I like that. I like
That's
that.
fun. I'm just getting my legs back a little bit there, but yeah, I have a few films. One I'll be producing, co-starring in a feature, very millennial-driven,
Oh, okay.
apocalyptic, very in the moment subject matter, and that's going to be that's in process. And then I just finished writing a screenplay, actually. With Gabby Dalal, who directed a movie called Three Generations that was out
Okay.
this year with Elle Fanning playing transgender.
Oh yeah,
Susan
yeah.
Sarandon,
Yeah.
Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
Great movie. If you haven't seen it, pick it up.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the writing's happening, the acting's happening, and of course I'm doing a lot of publicity now, so that will keep me busy too.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything's good. All engines are firing.
Well, girl, one of these days when you're back in Los Angeles and have some time, we gotta go back to my TV show on Booksucker Online, and let's talk more. Let's talk more about this. But I want people to read the book a little more, so then we can actually discuss it even more in depth.
Oh, can we? I would love that.
No, so
yes,
it's
let's let them read it because we didn't want to give too much
Exactly.
away today. But there's a lot of stuff we can talk about. I'll be in LA next month for sure.
Okay.
So it may be, I don't know if it'll be too soon, but either way, I will reach out and we'll see if we can find some time to dive in a little deeper.
Yes.
And it'll be fun.
Because I think it's a conversation that would be really good. We can have a really good conversation about this, and some good teaching moments, and some good stuff. And I think it's just important. But I know, but that invitation is open ended for you, of course. So whenever we can get it work it out, you're welcome on that show, of course.
Good. Okay, maybe next month then, because I'd love to see you and get in deeper and more specific. I really like that.
Yes, me too. Tina Alexis Allen, you guys. Tina Alexis Allen. Allen. Thank you. Okay. MakeSpace.com, a full-service storage startup in New York City, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. Never visit a storage unit again. Your stuff is picked up, stored for you, and brought back to you whenever you need. Go to www.makespace.com or go to Twitter @MakeSpace or go to Facebook, MakeSpace.com. They're also on the App Store and iTunes. Go there and visit them for more details. They are there for you and your storage needs. We are back as Extra Connections with James Lott Jr. I want to thank my incredible guest and friend, Tina Alexis Allen, her book, Hiding Out. You can get it everywhere, on Amazon especially, and I'm so glad that she was able to come on the show and share with us some of her thoughts about the book. I want to thank everyone who listens to this podcast and supports it. Please go to iTunes, rate, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think. Go to Spreaker.com if you listen to it through that way. If you don't have iTunes, you can go there and listen to it. It's all free. And then, of course, we're on iHeartRadio. Just look up Extra Connections, and I pop up, and you can listen to all the episodes right there on whatever listening device that you have, whether it's your car, tablet, phone. You can find this everywhere. And I just love doing the show so much, and I love connecting you with people who have something to say. And I'm going to do my best to continue doing that. So I want to thank you so much for listening. I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me at James Lott Jr. all over the social webs. And we have our page on Facebook, which is Extra Connections. Go there, like it so you can follow and see what's going on and learn a little more about each guest that we have. I post things about them on that page. So the page is called Extra Connections. Type it in, it's there. Like it and follow. And if you have any suggestions or any guests that you think I should have on the show that I should talk to you, let me know. If you're somebody with something to say that's really important, no matter who you are and what industry, let me know also. I'm always open to that too. I'm here to connect you with people, places, things, and ideas, always. I'm James Lott Jr., and I'll talk to you next time.